Hey, what's going on, everybody? You know how we get into it, so let's just go. Today's video is going to be about what the Senate just did today, which is reject the Democrats' offer to extend the Affordable Care Health subsidies. So let's just get into it. So, as you know, last month, for a while, the government was shut down because there was an impasse, right? The Democrats were saying, hey, we need to discuss these healthcare subsidies that are going to expire very soon, and it's going to result in like the average American paying like 200 to 300% more for their healthcare premiums. Let's talk about it. And Republicans basically were like, nah, fuck that, open the government, and then maybe we'll discuss it later in December. So, you know, Democrats, made the decision to, end the shutdown on a good faith measure that Republicans would actually do this. And lo and behold, here we are in the middle of December, and Republicans have really done nothing but reject the offer to extend the healthcare subsidies. There haven't been any debates on it. You know what I'm saying? So there hasn't been anything debating in the Senate or in Congress about any new legislation and everything that's going on. And what they have right now is like Senator Cassidy, a Republican senator, has won, and President Trump kind of floated this healthcare bill that's not even really official. It hasn't been vetted, hasn't been argued on the floor. But what they're suggesting is that like they're basically doing less subsidies and having people get less care. So they've actually did like a analysis of that. And so what it will result in is that the Republican plan will require people like that have like a silver plan to go down to a bronze plan, right? And then their deductibles would significantly increase. So there are certain people that have no deductibles. Their deductibles will go up to like $5,000. Some people's monthly premiums would like double from like go from like $500 to $2,000. So it's like it's something. It's not like the premiums going up 300% or the deductibles going up by $10,000 if all the subsidies went away. But Republicans do what they always do. They offer a plan that's just like maybe 30% of what it should be. And here's what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, look, we have a plan. Are you going to take it or leave it? Right? They're going to be like, give the plan sucks. The plan doesn't even address any of the issues that we're talking about. It actually ends up with Americans footing the bill, and like actually still paying way more than they can afford, but they're going to leverage it and act like you're dumb and be like, well, hey, Democrats don't want this. Well, Democrats don't care about healthcare, right? And they'll probably shut down the government again. You know what I'm saying? To say like, hey, Democrats don't want to do this, but like the healthcare is bad, right? It is not covering what it needs to cover. Millions of Americans are going to suffer and be kicked off of healthcare rolls if this is today, if this happens, right? But they're relying on the American public to have this false choice, to suggest that, like, hey, if you don't do the bare minimum of what the Republicans are asking, then we're not going to do anything. And then that will be your fault. Hey, we offered, we tried, and you didn't do it, even though what we're offering ain't shit. What we're offering isn't really helpful. What we're offering will still leave millions of people suffering. What we're offering wasn't even what was done in the past. What you're offering doesn't address some of the core issues of why you're saying you don't want to offer it, but they're just relying on the stupidity and the hatred of us to look at that and say like, hey, well, we need to do something. Something is better than nothing. And because they think like they're leveraging our suffering. So I just wanted to get this, like, so like, let's not fall for the okey doke, right? Let's not fall for it, because that's what they're relying on. They're relying on our suffering and frustration with government not working. They're posing a false solution that actually will result in lots of people being hurt and killed. It result in us like the bar being even lowered. The Affordable Care Act didn't go far enough. It still didn't address affordability and things of that nature, right? But instead of addressing things further, they're taking it back. And I think we just need to really analyze that and see how evil this is. Because I guarantee that's how it's going down, because, they only did a continuing resolution until January. And they're going to use this. So it's like, what are the Democrats going to do? Are the Democrats going to hold firm and be like, no, we need real investigations. We need real investments in healthcare. But what it's going to take is us, right? Because if we turn on the Democrats, if they decide to fight and say like, hey, no, we need more subsidies and we're willing to shut down the government for it, will we fight with them or will we fall for it? Because we all know Republicans are more than willing to shut down the government because they don't care. They're more than willing to have less health care because that is their goal, right? So let's just be informed people. Let's not let them use this again. And let's put the blame where it is. Republicans don't care about health care. If they did, they would have taken the healthcare thing up last month. Instead, now they waited until the middle of December, right before they go off on holiday, when they're not going to be working, to try and force some kind of bad deal down our throats. They're literally manipulating using time, the calendar, the poor, and suffering, all to give people less. Let's just not fall for it. Until next time.